Good afternoon and welcome to Ashgrove TV. We're coming to you live from Higham Ferrers with top tips on how to deal with both physical and emotional pain today. Joining me in the studio is Christian Baker, the most well-known consultant hypnotherapist and mindset coach in the area. Christian has worked with some very high-profile celebrities and has also demonstrated his skills on Blue Peter, X Factor, 10 Years Younger. Christian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jay.
And I gather with Blue Peter, the question that our viewers would really want to know more than anything, did you get a badge?
Absolutely did.
You did?
I did, yeah.
Fantastic.
I don't know where it is.
Where is it?
I don't know where it is, but I do have one. Never used it, but I do have one.
No, brilliant. Welcome to the show. It's lovely to, we know each other through clinic anyway, don't we? But thank you for coming on today. Going back to Blue Peter, was there an anxiety issue with either a guest or a presenter then?
Yeah, I've done a lot of TV work over the years and probably all of them come back to a form of anxiety or overwhelm in one way or another.
Yes.
But yeah, the Blue Peter one, which was quite a few years ago now, it was the presenter, Gethin Jones, was being set a challenge just down the road from here actually at Sywell Airport.
Okay.
To do a challenge with the Blades acrobatic flying team.
Yeah.
Flying wasn't an issue for him at all. But the same with most of us. I think if you're having to do loop-the-loops and twists and turns, it would increase a little bit of trepidation, to say the least.
Certainly would do.
So yeah, they asked me along to help him. They tried a few different kind of things. It was mainly motion sickness that was his problem. But again, if you're doing high speed and being flipped upside down, I think that's quite a normal response to have.
Okay.
But yeah, they tried a few different things and they asked me along to try and help. And fortunately, out of all the things I tried, my methods were the ones that helped.
So he had a physical reaction to it, and you were able to help him with the motion sickness as well as...
Yes, because it was a form of a symptom of the anxiety, really.
Yeah.
So, when people are fearful, anxious or worried, often sickness, a feeling of nausea can be part of that. So yeah, that was a fairly common symptom to have, and we were able to dull it down enough that he could do all the loops, and I got my badge.
Fantastic, well earned as
Thank
well.
you.
So, when you're dealing with somebody with, this extreme anxiety, it's hard, isn't it, to say, how many sessions is it going to take? Because, I know a lot of my patients go, how long is it going to take to get better? And it's different for everybody. And do you find that as well? Even if somebody has extreme levels of anxiety, sometimes it could take a shorter time. Is it always going to be a longer time frame? Or
to be fair, I'd say that the severity of the anxiety isn't kind of a measurement of how long it's going to take to deal with. Similar to you, when you're dealing with physical things, everybody's different.
Yes.
So there isn't a kind of a one size fits all.
No.
And I've had some people who struggle severely with, we're talking about multiple panic attacks every day. And then I've had some people who get slightly anxious in certain situations. And surprisingly, for them, they're surprised how quickly they've been able to reduce it and feel better. So yeah, everybody's different. There isn't a set number of sessions required, but in comparison to a lot of other modalities, it is a kind of a rapid, brief approach, say, compared to a lot of others.
Which is what you want, isn't it? Because I'm guessing you will get the sort of patient who's probably tried other things without success, or has had the anxiety for a long time and therefore will think it's going to take a long time to shift that anxiety. So that must be really, really empowering for them when they discover, well, actually, this may not take me too long to start conquering this thing, because it's very debilitating, isn't it? As we all know, anxiety.
Absolutely, and it's one of those things that once people understand and have a greater understanding and awareness of what it is, then it becomes much easier to kind of manage it, overcome it. And when I'm working with clients, we have a kind of a two-pronged approach we take. We look at strategies and mechanisms that they can consciously use in their day-to-day life that helps to manage it. And then we look at when we're doing the kind of deeper work together to kind of get a deeper reset, and those two kind of working together kind of creates a good combination for them.
I see. So therefore they'll be working with you, but then there's some content for them and stuff to work on when they go away, and that consistency is probably the thing that gets them there, rather than relying on seeing somebody once a week.
Even working at the clinic for as long as I have done, I naturally make the reference to physical injuries. You're going to get more benefit if you do your kind of prehab and your rehab exercises.
Yes.
If you don't do the work on your own and just rely on that session you've got with a physical therapist, it's probably going to take longer.
very similar in that sense, isn't it? Of you need to put the work in yourself. You can't just be reliant on somebody else, can you?
But like you say, it's also very empowering for the individual, because anxiety is a natural thing that any of us can have at any given time.
Indeed, yeah.
So if the worst case scenario is that you're empowered, that you have ways of which you can manage it, then the worst that's going to happen is that you're going to call upon those techniques if needed. Best case scenario is by practicing them on a regular basis, you're keeping the levels nice and low anyway.
It becomes a new sort of norm for that person as well. So, I mean, talking about, because I noticed we've got questions coming in already, which is brilliant. Thank you for your questions, which is fantastic. So, Pete would like to know, could you tell us what happens in our brains when we get anxious? And I'm guessing Pete, I'm presuming Pete, you mean either chemically, I would presume by that.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, most of my clients I see come with this kind of underlying thing. So one of the things I do with all my clients is explain to them a bit about how the mind works in a very non-kind of technical, just a really simplified way. And it is, most people have come across the term the fight or flight response. And it's basically the body and the mind's way of preparing us for what it perceives is a threat or a danger to us. So it's our safe system, it's our safe mode. Yeah. And when we look at our ancestors who were hunters and gatherers, it was a natural response. When you're fighting and running away from wild animals on a regular basis, you need that physical response to either deal with it or run away from it. Yeah. In modern living, there's not many occasions where we need or we can run or fight, yet we're having the same physical response as if we are. So it's the blood, the body chemistry that shifts and changes in that moment to get us pumped up into that state of alert to fight or run away. But if we're not fighting and we're not running away, if we went outside and the Higham Ferrers wildebeest was waiting for us, it'd be an appropriate response for us to get ready to fight or run away. Yeah. But if there isn't anything for us to actually deal with, and it's just modern life, busyness, overwhelm, demands of day-to-day living, we're still left with the physical sensations that we need to do something with. Yeah. So, some of the strategies and things we go over with clients helps to reduce that. Physical activities is a brilliant thing. Yes. Breath work. There's lots of things that we can do, and there's not one size fits all. It's about people adapting the things that's going to help them to keep it reduced. But yeah, it's answering Pete's question. It's a natural response. It's an appropriate response, but we often have it to inappropriate stimulus. Yeah. And it must be exhausting. For somebody experiencing that. It's draining because it should be like a break glass and emergency only, that response. Yeah. When there's a genuine threat. But if you're having it on a daily basis or for a prolonged period of time, it's absolutely exhausting. Is the truth to, obviously we read a lot about social media these days, and it's all comparable. People compare themselves to each other. People probably drink, see big cans of Monster, don't you, or caffeine. It's a little bits like that you advise your patients to maybe cut down on if they are, or do you not move into that field so much? So the lifestyle changes would be a better way of putting it. Is a big part of it, and we look at lifestyle strategies that people can use on a regular basis, but equally we look at their current lifestyle and if there's some tweaks that can be made. Sleep's a big one. Sleep underpins so much, and if people aren't getting good quality sleep or enough of it on a consistent basis, it will have a knock-on effect. And if people are consuming, high refined foods, caffeine, sugar, all those things are going to come into play. But no, that's not my area of expertise, but I certainly help get my clients to look at and have almost like an audit of their own lifestyle to see what some of the changes they can make themselves. Do you think that's why it is a little bit more prevalent these days with lifestyle? Like, we're busy, but I think my parents were probably quite busy. Are we busy doing the wrong things maybe and putting our time where we shouldn't? And is that why we're seeing? I mean, to me it seems since COVID there's been record levels of anxieties and depressions noted, isn't there? And I just wonder whether it's something that people can just be monitoring a little bit more themselves alongside help from someone like yourself, just to help them calm, because it's no good like having an hour or 2 hours with you, is it? And then going and doing exactly the wrong sort of stuff, poor sleep or things like that. I just wonder whether that's why it's a little bit more prevalent. I think modern living, there's demands on everyone, isn't there? And everyone's got, busyness that create different stresses and strains and demands on us. And like you say, if you compare that to decades ago, people were also more physical jobs. So, very true. Even things like, having to wash your own clothes. You were physical in a way. I've never done that. Not even with a washing machine. Yeah. But there's physical manual jobs. Yes. That modern living means that we don't have to do those things anymore. Yeah. So they're again outlets that we don't have that we used to have. But going back to social media, that's a big one. I think it is. just been locked on the screen for hours and hours, regardless of what you're actually consuming. Then you've got the quality of what you're watching. People go into that doom scrolling of comparing themselves.
Yes, this new term doom scrolling, which is kind of quite frightening when you look at that. And before you know it, minutes have gone, maybe an hour or so, isn't it? So, whereas it'd probably be about spending the time on doing some of the exercises that you give them to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, Pete has expanded, so thank you, Pete. He just wants to know a little bit more. I'm very interested in what makes us start to feel anxious about situations we'd normally feel okay with. Mine started after my kids went to uni, but I didn't think that was very frightening at the time. Do you have any ideas, Pete asks?
The reality is, it's usually an accumulation of things. It's not usually one thing that triggers anxiety off in people. So yes, there can be some significant life changes that brings it on for people, but probably 9 times out of 10, the people I see, it is just a build-up of things that have kind of been happening, and then one thing that can be really trivial can be enough to kind of tip people over the edge. But like I said to you, it is the mind responding to what it believes is a threat or danger to us, and a change in our circumstances, it feels like a threat to the mind.
Yes.
Consciously it doesn't. You know, your kid's going off to uni or moving out or whatever, there isn't a physical threat to your survival, but the mind craves familiarity.
Yeah.
Its normal default setting is to have that comfort zone. So the moment anything changes, big or small, the mind's going, hang on a second, what's going on here? We need to be prepared for this. So it goes into that state of alert, which then we refer to as feeling anxious, feeling different. So it isn't always the thing that's the problem, it's the way we're responding and reacting to it. So I always say to my clients, we can't change the external factors, but the one thing we can do, the one thing we are responsible for, is the way we allow ourselves to react and respond to it. And if we take ownership for that, then we can help ourselves to reduce it and manage it much more easily.
That's a good response for that, actually. So we've got other ones coming in. This is anonymous.
It's always a
How
worry.
do you recommend we sleep better? Now, I always think this is $1 million question. I like to party and think my friends will think I'm a bit woolly if I don't go out. But I train to, so I presume you mean going to the gym. Any tips on how to sleep better with somebody who parties? Now there's a question, isn't it?
Yeah, did you send that one in before?
Yeah, probably 10 years ago.
Again, there's not one size fits all, and everybody's different. And sleep's not my area of expertise, but I have helped a lot of people with sleep and insomnia over the years. And again, it's about looking at your lifestyle. You know, the classic things of you can't make yourself go to sleep. So the more you try to go to sleep, the more you wake yourself up.
Yes.
So all you can do is prepare yourself. So the obvious things of, you know, having stimulants before, as in watching things, looking at your phone, caffeine, it's about preparing yourself the best way you can for you.
Yeah.
And if that's reading a little bit, if it's disconnecting from the electronics, you know, it's just it's choice.
Yeah.
And it's responsibility. You've got to look at your life, what you're doing. If you want to go out and party, that's okay. But I'm assuming you're probably not going to do that 5, 6, 7 times a week and then wonder why you're not sleeping very well.
No, exactly.
So it's having that kind of more holistic view on life rather than that one
and
thing.
The balance of it. Because I remember, reading a book that actually a patient lent me, and it was written by a neurologist, but he works distinctly just with sleep disorders. And the first thing in that book that struck me, he said, nobody has a sleep disorder. They have an anxiety disorder which stops them sleeping. Yeah. And this is how we can address it.
But again, whether it's sleep or something else, the moment that your mind has latched onto that and you're worrying about it, then your mind becomes consumed by it, and then what's expected tends to be realised. So if you then think every time you go to bed you're not going to sleep, then the chances are you're not going to. So no one is born with the inability to sleep. No. We're just trained. You know, you train a baby to sleep at certain times that suit ourselves and life. You know, everyone has the ability to relearn to get into better sleep patterns.
Right, here we go. Question from Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Could Christian tell us a bit about why we get nervous about a run? I regularly run, but get nervous before a marathon, even though it's not a race.
But we're talking about an event, a running event, rather than just going for a run around the block or for training, do you think? Again, it's something that's different. You know, whether it be a golfer going down the driving range and hitting balls sweetly, but then the moment they go on the course with their friends, or it's a competition, whether it be a club one or a bigger one, it's different. It's different. So the mind's going, hang on a second. And also an event comes with a different level of kind of setup. You know, it feels like it's different. Yeah. And also there's we have expectations on ourselves, whether we want to get a PB, whether we want to kind of just trim a bit off our time, or there's a motivation why we're doing the run in the first place. Those
Yeah.
external factors are changing how we approach it. But again, it comes back to, we either let that control us, or we just do what we can to keep ourselves not calm, because it's not always appropriate to be calm, but just in a different headspace, a different level of awareness that allows us to more effectively do whatever it is that we want to be doing.
I guess, thank you. I think Sarah's question has probably led me on to something I want to talk about, because I'll often refer some of my patients to you. And probably the viewers would be interested to know a little bit, when you're working with sporting people, every time I hear, say, a sports psychologist, which I know is a different designation from yourself, it's all about the affirmation thing, isn't it? It's all about the positive visualisation. Is that how you work a lot? And do you see a lot of sports people? Obviously, I refer some to you, but...
Yeah, a lot of high performers, whether that be in sport, in business, or just life in general. But yeah, I've worked with a lot of both elite, premiership level athletes and amateurs. And we're all the same. We're all built the same. The different expectations, the different thing that we're striving to compete in or achieve might be a higher standard, but our response to it is the same. Whether you're looking to, get PB at the local park run, or whether you're looking to go to Olympics, for us, the body and the mind react.
So same really with Sarah. Sarah's having those same responses when she's having a marathon as the elite guys and girls are as well, I presume, as well. So,
did that answer your question?
Yeah, that did. Yeah, I think it's such a massive thing now within sport, isn't it? I mean, I have a lot of my patients that really do struggle with certainly physically good enough to do what they want to do, but what you might refer to as the demons can get in the way of them.
The mind monsters.
The mind monsters. Yeah, just that really inhibit them being at peak performance, actually.
And that's where what I do comes in. Most people I see know what to do. They're more than capable of doing it. But the thing that gets in the way, the thing that makes a difference, is what's going on up there. And often, not so much now, but still, it is largely the bit that people don't work on as much as they do their physical stuff. Physical, professional athletes, they're training every day.
Yeah.
But the bit they're usually leaving to chance is how they show up mentally.
So Tony wants to know, you talked about getting nervous about running, obviously. Does that apply to performance nerves for speaking or acting?
100%. It's the same thing. What goes, whether I'm, when I worked on X Factor and I was helping the singer who kept forgetting her lines.
Remember that.
Or whether it be somebody who's going to do a presentation to their team, or the CEO's doing a presentation company-wide, how the mind and the body are reacting is pretty much the same. So people are often surprised that I can help so many different things. But from my perspective, there's not a lot of difference in how the mind's reacting and responding. So it's that bit that we're working on, rather than the thing that's causing it.
It's not the thing. So sport, whether you're acting, whether you've got to do a best man speech that you're anxious about, that is the sort of thing you can work with.
And you mentioned affirmations and positive imagery. They're just some of the tools and techniques that people can use to help themselves.
Yeah.
So it's about preparing yourself, and then being in the optimum frame of mind to do the thing, and then optimise afterwards to make sure that you learn from the experience, and also you recover from the experience. So it's the before, during and after phase that you can really work on.
So you've actually helped Berry has sent a question that you worked on X Factor. Is he allowed to talk about it? Well, you kind of had, but I'm a bit interested for you to expand on it a little bit, because it was a huge show. It was huge, that show.
I mean, as you said at the beginning, I've worked with a lot of high-profile people. The nature of the work I do is that there is a strict level of client confidentiality. However, because I've done a lot of work in the public domain, it was shown on Saturday night TV in front of millions of people. So it's there for everyone to see. So I'm allowed to talk about that thing. Yeah. And again, I went back the following year as well and helped some people off screen, behind the scenes, that never got aired. And again, it was just helping them. There's a big pressure, at this height. There was millions of people watching every Saturday night, and they all wanted to stay in there for the next week to get to the final. So there's massive pressure. And some of these people had never done anything like it before. Some of them were quite young. Yeah. So, it's a big deal. I mean, you and I, before this is new. This is not something we do every day.
No, it's not.
So there's a natural level of apprehension that can occur when we do something new or different. Yeah. But then you put that on a larger scale, all of a sudden the intensity magnifies, which, as I say, we're all human. So we all have the ability to respond and react differently. But we're not taught how we can manage that. And if we can learn to do that a bit more, then that's probably the most helpful thing we can do.
I mean, I remember watching X Factor with you on it, and Do you have then nerves of, this is a big thing for you too? Or, I mean, people think, oh, he must have all the tools in the toolbox to deal with it himself, but you must feel some level, mustn't you, when you're working in...
I think it's two sides to that. I think people assume, a bit like you, that because you know a bit more about how the mind works compared to most people, that I must be okay and never have any problems myself. But that's like me saying, well, you know how to treat the body, so that means you must never get injuries. All the training, with all the knowledge you've got, I bet you never get injured. Of course not. You're human.
Exactly.
And the same thing applies.
And we don't always implement what we advise our patients, do we, actually? No. But so there's always room for work, isn't there?
Guilty as charged.
We are human, remember that. So, question from Ali, and this is an interesting one for me, actually. Do you use meditation? I don't know whether this is related to you personally. I would presume it's within your sessions, I think what Ali means there. Is it the same as hypnotherapy, meditation?
There's huge similarities. For me, the biggest difference is why and how you're using it. The level of awareness is similar. Self-hypnosis, hypnosis, meditation, guided relaxation, they're all achieving a different level of awareness, which most people find relaxing. So on its own, because none of us relax enough, it's a great thing to do.
Yeah. But
it's then why you're using that level of awareness that makes the biggest difference. So hypnosis, hypnotherapy is very similar, but it's the transformational therapeutic work we do while someone's in that level of awareness that's actually the important part rather than the level of awareness itself.
Nice. Perfect. Great. Yeah, great answer. Oh, Mr. Sheridan, that scared me straight away. It's nice to see you hosting the show for the clinic. I'm a patient, in brackets. Did you have any nerves before it started? Did Christian give you any tips? No, I think regarding nerves, I think it's healthy to have a little bit. It's new. I think one thing I'm learning as I get older, and actually, frankly, I've worked with Christian, and I'm happy to say that. He's fantastic at what you do, obviously. And that's helped me a lot in the last few years to look at things for me personally more as an opportunity, particularly in this case to knowledge share and to let you guys know a little bit more about what we do at Ashgrove Clinic. Is an honour, actually. So no, and I think one thing I've learned as well, if I make a boo-boo today, the world will still turn, won't it? So I think it's all about putting things in perspective. And to try new things and to be a little bit more fearless. That's something Christian worked with me about. So,
change is inevitable.
Yes.
So it's how we embrace it and allow ourselves to get out of that comfort zone.
Yes.
And also it comes back to, is it something you want to do? If you've chosen to be here, no one's made you be here, then go with it, enjoy it, learn from it, and you get better every time. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're learning to play an instrument, the first time you play it, you're not going to be as good as when you've done it for the 100th time or 2 years later, 10 years later. No. Same as this, we get better as we go.
We do, and I sometimes think we'd get touching on the social media aspect of things again, whether because everything's so comparable these days, somebody can do it better than me. And of course that may very well be true, mightn't it? But I think it's still about getting involved, and if something brings you a bit of joy, you should go for it instead of this constant comparing. It happens with my athletes with their running. They're always comparing themselves to somebody else. Where it's no, you've got to be the best version of you.
Yeah, and we call it the curse of comparison because it's not fair. It's the harshest thing you can do is compare yourself to other people, particularly when it comes to social media, because people don't show. Generally, there's some people who do it and do it well, but generally we show the highlights. We show the best bits, and it's unfair to compare yourself with somebody else's best bits. You don't see what's gone on, the work, the effort, the discipline, the practice to get them to that point.
Yes, yeah. Right, here we go. BB. Christian, I've been following your Instagram posts about mindset reset. Could you tell us a bit about how you help people in a treatment? Is it different from what you tell us in your lovely videos?
Is it different? Not really, no. And that's why I do it. It's, there's a limit to how many people I can see in a day, in a week, in my lifetime. Yeah. So I share as much as I can. And for some people, that'll be enough. But again, it's kind of bringing together a lot of what we've talked about today. It's giving people tools, techniques and strategies that they can use themselves to give them that mindset reset, to have a break from what's gone on in the past, what may go on in the future, or what we're worried about in the future, and just be more present, just have strategies that can help get them out of their own head and just be in the here and the now. And if that's helpful for some people, brilliant. If some people need a little bit more help, then obviously that's where I've got other things that can help them more, one-on-one work to go a little bit deeper. But generally speaking, the mindset resets is there. I try and share as many simple, easy to use strategies as I can so that people can do it. And it's a bit like you with your rehab. If you give people complicated exercises, you know full well they're not going to do it.
No, exactly. So and the overwhelming thing is down. You don't want to be overwhelming somebody who's already overwhelmed, do you? No. So
On overwhelm, while you're looking at the questions, overwhelm is interesting because sometimes it's because of having too much to do, or we perceive we've got too much to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not that we've got too much to do, it's just that we don't know what to do next.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just a case of asking yourself the question, what's the most important thing? What is the easiest thing for me to do? What's the one thing I can do next that's going to help me move forward? And just reduce the overwhelm. It's the perception we build in our head that becomes the problem, not the actual thing.
Yes.
The thought of doing things are always more overwhelming than the actual doing.
That's such an eloquent point. It really is, isn't it? That the actual fear of something is never as bad as you think
And like
it's
you
going
said,
to be.
and sometimes it is about us being as blunt with yourself as possible and saying, well, what is the worst that can happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the worst that will happen is you'll learn from it and you'll move forward. The time will pass.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah, indeed. Jane has asked, what does hypnotherapy feel like, please?
Really good question. And I think because there's a lot of misconception, not so much now, but certainly when I started out, there's, the expectation that it's going to be how it's perceived for when it was used for entertainment and in films and things.
Yeah.
Really, like we said earlier, with meditation, with mindfulness, with guided relaxation, the majority of people, I'd say pretty much all people who use it, find it very relaxing. Even if it's not during, the after effect is that most people find it very relaxing, which is why it's also very helpful to work with things like stress, like anxiety, because you can't be stressed and anxious and be relaxed at the same time. No. So just going through the process on its own, and whether that be through meditation, whether that be through self-hypnosis, or whether that be in a session that we have, will help to give you that reset and help you to feel more relaxed. But yeah, the worst case scenario is you'd feel as if you're sitting with your eyes closed and nothing's happening.
Yes.
The best case scenario is you'll feel nice and relaxed.
Fantastic. Now, Pete asked something, and I missed this one, so apologies, Pete. How do you change your response to something? I know we've touched on this a little bit. Everybody says to breathe, but sometimes the response happens before I've breathed.
Yeah, okay. I think what we're getting at there is, one is that if you learn strategies to use preventatively, then it's going to be more helpful to you to keep your levels down to begin with. So again, it's creating lifestyle strategies that keep you nice and level, calm and relaxed. But then also, if you ever need to do it in a reaction to something, you're going to be that much more stronger in using it and calling upon it than if you wait. Clients will say, oh, you told me to do that breathing exercise, and then when I had to stand up, I just couldn't think of what I was supposed to do. Well, if you've left it to that point, it's going to be very difficult. Yeah. So it's coming out from two angles. One is prevention, and one is then to help you to calm down should it happen as well.
So obviously, patients often come to me when they're injured, and I'm referring this to you in the sense that they'd be better if they came when they weren't injured, really, actually, sometimes, because we can treat that way. So with you, do you, if you discharge one of your patients, are there then top-up sessions available? I mean, what do you recommend to keep them healthy rather than, right, here we go, I've done my bit, off you go, and do you recommend people to come back? Or
It's open-ended. And that's where I've seen the change. When people used to come to see me 23, 24 years ago when I first started, it was pretty much preventative stuff. It was people were feeling like there was something they needed to sort out. Now people are more aware of helping themselves and approaching their mental fitness, I like to call it, in the same way as they do their physical fitness.
You
don't go to the gym once and then say, right, I don't need to do anything on my fitness ever again. No. And the mind's the same. But it's not necessarily they need to see me. Hopefully I've equipped them with tools, techniques, strategies, audios, videos that they can use as reference points. But I have clients who have been to see me years ago and will call me up and say, everything's okay, but I just feel like I do a bit of a booster. Or life events have meant that what we've worked on before was absolutely fine, but now they know what helps them. They'll get in touch and say, can we pick back up and deal with this situation?
We've got one very large question and we must finish. The time's flown. And I know what the answer is going to be to this, I think. Is going for a walk enough to reset?
It absolutely can be. Yeah, I mean, physical movement, getting outdoors is great. But if you're someone who prefers to do some, exercise or activity in the house or at the gym, then great. But for me, physical movement is great, and personal preference is going out for a walk and being in nature. And it doesn't have to be, a scenic place. It could just be around the block in your lunch hour or whatever it might be. But walking for me is a good one. It's a personal favourite.
Fantastic. Well, that is it. That went very quickly, didn't it?
Certainly did.
Christian,
always a pleasure.
Thank you very much indeed. Jay. Okay. That's all we've got time for today. Thanks again, Christian, for sharing your knowledge with us and helping us step into a positive mindset for this afternoon. If you've got any issues or subject you would like to see on the show, please get in touch with us through Facebook and let us know. We'll be back Tuesday, December the 2nd, we'll be talking about ligament injuries, which is something I'm very interested in actually. I hope you'll join us then. But for now, have a great afternoon.